Alright, so again, you need a dark color marker, a light color marker. You're going to need your square nail tips. Yesterday we did 2 designs, the zebra and the tiger stripes on the nail tip. Today we're going to do 4 nail tip designs on here, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the class period, and you're going to pick any design on your nail art page and draw them on your square nail tips. When you leave today, the square nail tip card, all of the nails will have a design on them, and you'll be graded on this. Not a grade on perfection, but just graded if you did it. We are working with our nail art packet. Okay, we're going to do 3 designs today. After you learn the skills for today, then you'll be able to do any of the designs on this page. And you'll be doing your designs first on marker, then with nail polish on this nail art template. And then you're going to transfer onto your nail tip. So wherever you are, some of you guys are still on the top row, some of you guys are on the second row, does not matter. The next finger that you have available is what we're going to do. If you take a look at the middle part of your worksheet, you have your cheetah print, leopard print. Different kinds of cats out there. There's different kinds of designs and ways to do it. This is one way. So we'll start here. So you have your nail tip. A little crooked nail tip, isn't it? It's okay. Alright, you have 2 different color markers. You have a light color and a dark color. You can do it on the back side of this, it's fine. Yeah. Or if you don't want to do it on there, you can do it on one of the index cards. The middle is fine. It's just for practice. Okay, so you have 2 colors, a dark one and a light one. We're going to start with the light color. In essence, the cheetah or leopard print is a circle, a dot, with 3 parentheses around it. So, it's a dot, which is the lighter color, and it's got 3 parentheses around it, not necessarily right over the dot. That is in essence how you do the cheetah or the leopard print. Except for you distort it. You make the circle wobbly, wiggly, long, flat. Okay? So here we go. You're going to draw a circle, color it in, and then you're going to distort it and make the edges wiggly so it's not perfect. That's one way to do it. The other way is, as you're drawing the circle, already distort it. So then you can do a wiggle circle and then color it in. However you choose to do it is your choice. Whatever works for you. It could be long. It's just a bunch of spots, but the spots are not perfect. They're not perfect circles. When you're doing the edge of a design or a design on the nails, always good to do something on the edge. So do a semicircle on the edge of the nail tip, anywhere on the nail tip. I really did that one real crooked, huh? All right. You're going to then take the dark color and you're going to draw the 3. It's typically 3. It can be 2, but typically 3. You're going to draw the 3 parentheses, but don't make the parentheses perfect and don't make them perfectly on top of the edge of the circle. So here is a parentheses, here's another one, and here's another one. Okay, and then you got a parentheses. It's not perfect. It's not lined up. One is shorter, one is longer, one is squiggly. I mean, they're still solid lines, but they're not necessarily perfectly aligned. And same thing with your design that's kind of off to the side at the edge. It's not perfect. Does that make sense? It's a dot with 3 parentheses around it. You just have to distort it so it is not perfect. The more perfect you try to make the dot and the parentheses, the less natural it's going to look. So now what I want you to do, now that you practice this technique with marker on your paper, on your template, go ahead and get 2 nail polish colors. Now you might have to share with your neighbor. Okay? And it's okay if you have to share. There's a pink and a white one up there. So you're going to take 2 colors. You're going to start on paper, and then you're going to do it on the nail tip. Start on paper. We're going to leave the nail tip for the end. Okay? You're going to start on paper. So I want you to take your lighter nail polish on the paper, and you're going to draw the dots first. So as you're drawing the squiggly dots, I want you to keep something in mind. If you drop down too much product, too much polish on the dots, you're going to have a puddle. Now remember that the nail is curved side to side and front to back. So if it's a puddle, it's going to run. It's going to run off to the side. So just a little bit of nail polish. If you have to do 2 coats, you can do 2 coats. But on your paper with your light color polish, go ahead and draw your dots on one of the nail fingers. If you're doing it on a person, by the time you get from one pinky to the other pinky, the nail's dry. So, give it maybe a second or 2 if it's not completely dry. And then, go ahead and take your darker color and create your parentheses, your squiggly parentheses, 3 at least. Sometimes 2 is okay. Create your squiggly parentheses around your squiggly dot on your template. If you take a look at the middle of your nail art packet, you're going to see how those squiggly lines are. Sometimes there's little dots as well, just kind of as a fill, and that's okay too. It's very important that whenever you're trying to create this animal print, this particular animal print, that your colors go well together. If you're going to do something more monotone, something more natural, then maybe like a dark brown and a light brown goes well. If you're trying to do something like a holiday theme like red and green, that goes well. The natural color, the more common one is the brown and the black. But you can do pinks, right? Typically, the dot is light and the parentheses are dark. You can turn it around. Okay? Just make sure that the colors go well together. You can do neon colors, things of the sort. Okay? You might have to share with your neighbors, and that's okay. We'll give you a second to, if you're not done, it's okay. We'll come back to it in just a second. But we're going to move on to the next technique. You're going to do the leopard print on the nail tip in just a second. Alright, so now let's take a look at our nail art packet. On the top, you see the swirl circle? Yeah? Let's go ahead and on that swirl circle, go ahead and draw a line down the middle. You're going to draw a line down the middle of the swirl. Draw a line down the middle of the swirl. Then, on your nail template packet, on the next nail, wherever you're at, some people are at the bottom, some people are still at the top. Go ahead and on that nail, that next nail with your marker, now no, I'm on the board, so mine's a little squiggly, but yours is just going to be straight. Draw a line down the middle. This is your midpoint. Now, sometimes when you're trying to draw a design on a curved surface, it's difficult. Especially when you have a tool like a thin nail art brush that the bristles are long, it's hard to control it to do what you need it to do. So, you have to do it by sections, you have to break it down. So first, this design, the swirl, everybody's like, yeah, I can do that. No. Done. Right? It's hard with a curved surface, front and back, side to side, and with that nail brush. So there's a particular technique. Okay? The C-shape technique. Alright? So what you're going to do is you're going to do C shapes. First I'm going to show you how. So you're going to do a small C where you stopped, you start and do a backward C a little bit bigger. Where you stopped, you start and then do another C where you start, stopped, you stop. Do you see how you did that? By sections. Okay, so now we're going to do it on the nail. So do a little C in the middle. Where you stopped, you're going to start your next C, but it's backwards and bigger. So where you stopped, you start and do your C backwards and bigger. And then do another C and another C until you get the size you want. Now the tail, you can stop in the middle, or the tail, you can just create a little tail, little hook. It's up to you. Your midpoint line can be diagonal. It can be diagonal this way, and then you start your nail, your C shape here. That's okay. Does not have to be down the middle of the nails, just to teach you to find the midpoint. So now with your nail polish, we're not going to do it on this here. We're going to do it on the actual nail. Grab your square nail tip index cards. Take 2 nails off of here. Load them onto your finger, your shrimp finger. And if you don't have shrimp fingers, you don't have your kit yet, there's shrimp fingers over here. If you feel more comfortable holding on to the nail tip, that's okay too. And some people have been just working off of the card, and that's okay too. Whatever works for you is fine. Okay? You're going to take 2 nail tips, and you're going to do this swirl both ways with the nail polish. The first way, I want you to try it so you can see kind of how hard it is. You're going to do the regular way. You're just going to put your nail brush down in the middle and just give it a swirl, and let's see what happens. You're going to see it's not that easy. It doesn't come out as nice. Again, because you're working on a curved surface side to side, front to back. You're working with the nail brush that has long, thin nail bristles or brush bristles, and it's hard to manipulate. So on the first nail tip, go ahead and try the regular way, the way that you naturally would think to do. Put your brush down and give it a swirl without lifting the brush. Then you're going to put that nail tip down. You're going to pick up a second nail tip, and then you're going to do the new way you just learned, which is the find the midpoint and do C shapes. Okay, try that. Let's take a look at the second row. You have a heart. Same thing. Most people want to take the nail brush and just draw the heart like you normally would draw a heart. But again, just like with the swirl, making those curves is difficult. So you have to break down your technique. And this is how, or this is a way. Hearts are different from person to person. Some people do long, thin, skinny hearts. Some people do chunky hearts. Some people's the bubble is real rounded. Some is kind of chiseled. It depends. But this is how you can break down your heart. So, as you see here on the second row with the heart, draw your V. First, draw the letter V. Then, you're going to draw the bubbles of the heart. The bubbles are created with the letter C. So create your C. Could also be a parentheses or a J. Then you do another V. And then connect your V point however long you choose. Again, because it's hard to manipulate that brush when you're curving to make a design, you break it down. But then you're like, well, it looks kind of, you can see where I connected it. This is where you perfect your design 2 different ways. Polish remover, and you remove any edge or corner that you don't like, or you take a brush or the same brush and you kind of smooth out and go over and perfect your heart however, or your design however you choose, right? There's different ways to do so. But breaking it down, super, super important. Especially anytime you're doing a curved design, not just a swirl or heart, but this is how the foundation of it. Anytime anything is curved, just break it down. Okay? So, you're going to do the heart in just a minute, but let's take a look at the top row. You have a heart that has a swirl, 4 swirls. You can combine your techniques together. So all of these you can put together. Like the heart that has the cheetah print on the inside. Well, now we're going to put our swirls on the inside and bottom of the heart. Instead of going from small to big, we're going to go from big to small. So then do a big C shape, smaller, smaller, smaller. Big C shape, smaller, smaller, smaller. Same thing. Now that you know where the midpoint is, you can visualize that midpoint, and now you have that heart design that you see there on the last square on your page at the top. So sometimes to create a big design, you got to break it down into little pieces. First you did the heart, and then you did the swirls, right? Maybe you wanted the heart, but then you wanted the cheetah print on the inside or leopard print or whichever. So when a client brings you an image of a nail design from Instagram, and you look at it and you're like, ooh, what? No, I don't think I can do that. Yes, you can. Every drawing, every image is the letter of the alphabet, punctuation marks, or numbers. Manipulated to be put together to create a figure, a design of some sort. You can do all of the foundation lines, you just don't know how to put it together yet. So these techniques help you to realize you can, and help you how to break down a design to make the finished result that your client is asking for. Questions on that? So now what I want you to do is I want you to practice. Now you can practice on paper with a nail polish first if you want, your choice. But on your nail tips, you already did the 2 swirls, the 2 ways of swirls. On the square nail tips, let's review again. You have the zebra and the leopard, the zebra and the tiger stripes from yesterday. You have the 2 circles from today that we just did. Now I want you to do, on the nail tips, I want you to do a leopard, and I want you to do the heart, with or without the swirls, your choice. Now y'all can share the nail polishes amongst yourselves across each table. Okay, so that was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 designs that we did together. Then, with the rest of the 4 nail tips, pick 4 other designs from this sheet and create them here on the nail tips. When you leave today, you should have all 10 nails should have some sort of design on them. You're not being graded on perfection. You're just being graded on, did you try it? Any questions? Okay. You have until the end of the class.